On this special occasion, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to the government agencies and diplomatic offices for their support, including Ministry of Economic Affairs, Marshall Islands Embassy, Japan-Taiwan Exchange Association, Taipei Office, Malaysia Friendship and Trade Center, Brunei Darussalam Trade and Tourism Office in Taipei, Singapore Trade Office in Taipei, Lithuania Trade Representative Office, New Zealand Commerce and Industry Office Taipei, Australian Office in Taipei, and also India Taipei Association, Czech Economic and Cultural Office Taipei, Trade Council of Denmark Taipei, Manila Economic and Cultural Office, and many other supports. Please give yourself a big round of applause and thank you so much for your generous support. Moving on, the Indo-Pacific is increasingly commanding the spotlight on a global political stage as countries across the world work together to develop their own Indo-Pacific strategy. Firmly at the center of the Indo-Pacific, Taiwan has pursued its own strategy since 2016 through the new southbound policy, now expanded to NSP+, which extends beyond economic and people-to-people exchanges to deepen cooperation in health, technology, and security. NSP Plus serve as both a framework and a springboard for deeper cooperation between Taiwan and like-minded countries in the Indo-Pacific. Today, TAEF will launch a report titled Advocating for Taiwan's Indo-Pacific Strategy, and our guests can find a pamphlet version of this report with some key highlights. Now we would like to welcome back to the stage Dr. Xinhuang Michael Xiao, TAEF Chairman, to talk about the report. Please welcome Chairman Xiao.
Good morning again. After careful and thorough review of the 14 existing publicized Indo-Pacific strategies report from 12 different countries in the world and 2 international organizations, we have crystallized the following 7 common pillars. I think the 7 pillars you can find in our brochure here. Yeah. Strengthening partnership, participating in trade and commerce, cooperating in security and defense, promoting democratic values, addressing climate change and environmental sustainability. 6, enhancing culture and people-to-people exchange. And 7, finally, strengthening maritime security and governance. In the past, under the New Southbound Policy and now the New Southbound Policy Plus, we have gathered the experience. We found New Southbound Policy and now the New Southbound Policy Plus has been the core of the Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy without a formal statement of Indo-Pacific strategy. And we found out there are the core. They're very coincident, very found a common ground with the 14 Indo-Pacific strategies report. But we feel that it is time for Taiwan to take its position and responsibility to present its own Indo-Pacific strategy in a full way, in a full content. We have then take into account of Taiwan's circumstances, which is very unique, and presentize foreign and global policy priorities. We then integrate these ideas and situation with above 7 pillars into our proposed Taiwan Indo-Pacific strategy, as presented here today for your review and for your insight and feedbacks. So this is the origin of the Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy in an initial form as presented by TAEF. Now, Dr. Yang, Alan Yang, TAEF Executive Director, is going to share with you in more detail of the TAEF's version of Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy. Okay, Alan.
Thank you, Chairman Hsiao. Please return to your seat. Let's give Chairman Hsiao a round of applause. Thank you very much. And now we're going to give the floor to Dr. Alan Yang.
Good morning, distinguished guests and the think tank leader across the Indo-Pacific region. Follow up by Chairman Hsiao's introduction remark. I would like to invite you to refer to this pamphlet for the details of Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy. This is based on our internal discussion, and a task force has been formed late 2024 in Taiwan-Asia Exchange Foundation, led by Chairman Hsiao. We come up with a scrutiny of the 14 existing Indo-Pacific policies or strategies by highlighting the 7 pillars mentioned earlier by Chairman Hsiao. And we think it is a good timing for now to demonstrate Taiwan's commitment to work with the existing partners and also the existing Indo-Pacific strategies. So we come up with this strategic report to offer an overview and framework of Taiwan's own Indo-Pacific strategy discourses. And from the pamphlet, you can see that there are 4 pillars, or we use the term chain, because we think during the past years, the discussion on Taiwan focused on semiconductor supply chain, which is narrowly defined and also narrowly highlight the focus and importance of Taiwan. So we decided to respond to the existing 14 Indo-Pacific policies by adding more element and also priority issue area of what Taiwan can offer and what constitute the challenge not only imposed to Taiwan but also to the entire Indo-Pacific region. And during the past years, definitely we see the uncertainty and also the geopolitics challenge imposed by the authoritarian expansionism. And it has been decades that Taiwan was too shy to highlight and prioritize the need for security cooperation. So with that, we begin with the introduction of the security resilience chain as the first priority issue area for our proposed Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy. And the strategic objective of this security resilience chain is to position Taiwan as a driving force and promoter for global peace. So it's not only about the security or the military cooperation, but focus on how Taiwan can enable a more sustainable and inclusive global peace. Apart from this security resilience chain, another important chain that President Lai Ching-te strategized is the democratic value. So how Taiwan work as the champion of democracy and the beacon of democracy, how Taiwan's vibrant civil society can work with other Indo-Pacific partners, civil society, to promote the democratic governance is very important. So the democratic value chain serves as the second pillar of Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy from our perspective. And the third one, which is also the focus for the Indo-Pacific like-minded country, and also mentioned by Deputy Minister Jiang, some cutting-edge frontier industry and economic presence, including the high-tech industry, semiconductor, energy transformation. Those are important issue area that Taiwan and our private sector and our business circle work and march together. And that will lead to inclusive ecosystem among those sectors and also a like-minded country. And we think that the non-red supply chain, also valued by President Lai Ching-te, should be the core element of this Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy. And the strategic objective is to empower Taiwan to drive trusted supply chain and the global prosperity. So that is the number 3 pillar of the chain. And finally, as mentioned earlier by Chairman Xiao, the new southbound policy and the people-centered new southbound policy plus continue to serve as Taiwan's interaction and also the venue for more regional solidarity. So we emphasize the friendship and reciprocity chain as the fourth, but the most important pillar to enable and materialize the Taiwan's Indo-Pacific strategy by highlighting the strategic object to enable Taiwan to serve as a promoter of inclusive growth in the Indo-Pacific and worldwide. So with these 4 chains in mind, we propose that the Taiwan's Indo-Pacific security need to address the importance of Taiwan and to link up with our partner, like-minded institutions and countries in addressing the joint effort and collective action to tackle the challenge and uncertainty not only imposed to Taiwan, to democracy across the Indo-Pacific, but also to the entire region. So this is the responsive approach to echo to the existing 14 Indo-Pacific policy and strategy. And we also learned that there is a continuous heated debate among the United States think tank and policy circle that whether U.S. should work out another 2.0 of the Indo-Pacific strategy or Indo-Pacific policy for the Trump administration. And we are keen to communicate and to engage the think tank circle as well as the policy community in the U.S., in European country, and also in the neighbors of Indo-Pacific region to jointly brainstorm how and what kind of the resilient Indo-Pacific policy is in great demand, not only for the state and government, but also for our beloved people in this region. And with that, I should stop and thank you for your listening. And we do look forward to incorporate your insight, guidance, and input to enlighten the follow-up revision of the Indo-Pacific strategy of Taiwan during the sessions of today's summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yang. Please remain on the stage because now we are going to announce there will be a new collaboration between TAEF with the National Maritime Foundation on an upcoming report that will be published in 2026. So once again, I would like to give the floor back to Dr. Yang to give us more introduction.
Distinguished guests, it's me again. Well, TAEF will be happy to take this summit as a good opportunity and venue to announce our partnership with the National Maritime Foundation. I think Admiral Chohan will speak on behalf of NNF for how to enable and materialize the partnership with us. So let me briefly share with you the background. Dating back to 2024, the summer, TAEF was organizing a roundtable on think tank diplomacy across the Indo-Pacific region in Manila, jointly held in line with the Southeast Asia Study, the Consortium for Southeast Asia Study in Asia. The abbreviation is C-Asia Consortium Biannual Conference. So at that event, we did invite Admiral Chohan on behalf of National Maritime Foundation in India, and Mr. Seiko Masato, the senior director of the Nippon Foundation, and one of my junior colleague, Patrick. Then he was working in Habibi Center, and Habibi Center's boss, Ansori is here. So at that time, we had a very fruitful discussion on how a think tank can work for a more effective non-government diplomacy or non-government engagement. And that roundtable was quite welcome among the audience in the Philippines. And we decided not only organizing the event, but to materialize the collaboration between the institution. So we closely work with Nippon Foundation annually to join the EFIC Congress in Tokyo to meet the foundation and also the philanthropic organizations leader in Tokyo to think about how to empower the next generation to join and to enable the inclusive growth in Asia. Apart from that, I also work with Admiral Chohan in launch a program on publishing a special issue on their flagship journal, the Journal of Maritime Affairs, on how Taiwan and India can jointly create a resilient and reliable maritime corridor, apart from our existing 6th corridor of President Lai's new southbound policy plus. So with that, we successfully invited some leading policymaker and scholar from India and from Taiwan to draft a few feature articles with the analytical insight to entertain the audience in India and also in Taiwan in the future. So with that, that was the background of the collaboration between Taiwan-Asia Region Foundation and also the National Maritime Foundation. So I would like to invite Admiral Chohan to say a few words regarding our joint publication. So Admiral, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yang. Please return to your seat. And now let's invite Admiral Pradeep Chauhan, Director General of the National Maritime Foundation, India, to present the report. Please.
It's a singular honor for me to be here to follow up on the promise that has been indicated by my good friend and oft quoted mentor, both Michael Tsao as well as Alan Yang. So I want to emphasize 2 or 3 things very quickly. I'm aware of the press of time. The first is that we need to be clear as to how we distinguish policy from strategy. And if policy is going to be the enunciation, the statement of our desired end goals, then what strategies will we evolve in order to be able to achieve those end goals? The second thing is that for India, the Indo-Pacific is not in and of itself a strategy. For India, the Indo-Pacific is a strategic geography. And in that strategic geography, India will derive a number of strategies. aimed at achieving regional and national maritime and general goals, both geo-economic ones as well as non-geo-economic ones. Clearly, by just these two statements, I have offered a larger scope in which we must be able to engage with the TAEF and the National Maritime Foundation so that we do not simply ape or copy existing thought processes and existing material, but derive material that is original in thinking, even if that originality is disruptive. And there's one last point I wish to make before I yield the floor, and that is that India and Taiwan represent to autocratic regimes a common bond which we have seldom been able to leverage. We don't present a threat to the Communist Party of China because we build submarines or we build aircraft carriers or we are making drones or we have new military technologies. This is not how we present the threat. We present a threat to China simply by doing yoga. We breathe in, we breathe out. By existing, we offer, while India was a poor country, not high in the global GDP scale, demography was against us, we were welcomed and ignored both by China. Today, however, China is unable to tell its people that, see, you must follow our model of autocracy, single-party rule, only then is economic prosperity possible in large countries. India presents the opposite. And therefore, by simply existing, we present China with a threat. Not China the country, but the Communist Party of China. And Taiwan does exactly the same. There is some possibility that China could say about Taiwan that this is a small country, but together China cannot say India and Taiwan are both small countries. China cannot say that India and Taiwan are both low in population or in population density. We haven't generated enough strategic counter in this regard. We haven't been able to flesh this out and be able to contest China's otherwise impressive strategic communication. That is what we expect to be able to do. And this is the flagship journal of the National Maritime Foundation. It is Maritime Affairs. We have a copy which has been placed on the table outside, and it will jostle for primacy along with the many other publications that are there. But I do want to ask you to keep careful track of this because we will produce a special issue, and it won't be as thin and slim as this one, in which we will tackle these issues as to how should we together offer a lead to the world and certainly to the Indo-Pacific that democracy and democratic values will offer a much more attractive option to people who have thus far been laboring under the impression that there is only one way in terms of economic as well as non-geo-economic prosperity. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vice Admiral Chauhan. Please proceed to the front of the stage. And now, once again, we invite Chairman Xiao and Dr. Yang. Please come forward for a group photo. And we look forward for more cooperation among think tanks, not just between Taiwan, but also with think tanks around the world. So this report launch just marks a wonderful beginning. Please look at the photographer. 3, 2, 1. All right, thumbs up. Look at the photographer. One more. 3, 2, 1. All right, we have more photographers in the back. 3, 2, 1. We want to make sure that we have captured this precious moment. All right, one more. 3, 2, 1. All right. Please give a warm round of applause to Vice Admiral, and thank you once again to our distinguished speakers. Please return to your seat.